welcome back to the third part. And to the third video, we will scrape PitchBook for a third time, PitchBook profiles. And as promised, this is the best method for this specific website for PitchBook. And it's in fact like I'm always trying to do this, so because it's the best method if it works. And you can already see I'm talking about sitemap scraping. So many websites, there used to be more, but still quite a few websites have a sitemap that's publicly available. And a sitemap is basically just a way of telling crawlers about all the pages you have on your website, right? This is how you tell Google, I actually got these 10,000 pages covering topics X, Y, Z, and you also can input more information about how often a page is updated and how important it is on all these kind of things. And for example, all WordPress sites, and 40% of all websites are WordPress sites, they all have a sitemap. It's automatically generated by the content management system, and many other content management systems do the same. So for WordPress sites, it works unless they are doing something unique, some custom stuff. But also many huge sites have a publicly available sitemap. And I'm emphasizing publicly available because many sites have a sitemap, but they limit access to just Google or whatever to whitelist it, and there are just anti-scraping measures that might prevent you from accessing the sitemap. So, but we are talking about PitchBook, right? And the easiest or the first thing you can try is just do this sitemap.xml, and XML is just a specific data format, just like HTML or whatever. And as you can see, it works here for PitchBook. Their sitemap is really at this location. It's just at sitemap.xml. It's like the standard location, but many websites use a different location. So another place where you can look at is called robots.txt. And as the name suggests, the robots.txt contains information just for robots, and it tells them which websites they are not allowed to visit. And it also there are sometimes rules that tell specific scrapers you're not allowed here. But of course, these are just suggestions for the scrapers, and it's not like a hard rule for these scrapers. If they want to keep scraping, they can. But this is just how you define these different rules, and also tell, for example, Google, don't scrape these internal pages. There's no valuable information here. It's just a duplicate stuff or whatever. But also, you can see the location of the sitemap is usually specified here. So in case it's not at this location, just at sitemap.xml, you might want to look at the robots.txt, and it should be there. The final thing, if both of these things do not work, is of course you can just search, right? You can just use the search engine and type in the website name and a sitemap, and sometimes there are discussions in forums, Stack Overflow, Reddit, where people discuss, and sometimes people were able to find it elsewhere. So this is also like the last resort, but sometimes, as I said, there's simply no sitemap, or it's very well hidden and access is limited and you just don't have access to it. Okay, so now let's look at the sitemap. It's actually a fairly complicated sitemap because PitchBook is so large, they have so many profiles that they actually split it up. So just for the sake of simplicity, I would like to start with something simpler and then go back to PitchBook, right? Because I'm going to show you a simpler sitemap. We'll do it first, and afterward we can just easily level up to PitchBook. So this is the Hive Index. It's a cool website, which is basically just a curated directory of communities. And it also has a sitemap, right? And this is what it looks like. And you can see here, if you can see this on the right-hand side, it's huge, right? There are many, many pages. And this is because, yeah, there are over 1,000 communities they have in their index. And also other pages, right? They have topic pages. And if we go further down, we actually get to communities. So let's start with this here, because PitchBook actually does not have direct links to pages here. It actually has them only in the minified version because it's so huge, and they split it up in multiple stuff. So there are a few steps in between. So let's start with this very simple sitemap. And the way, the cool thing about Python is that there are packages for everything, and because I honestly always forget how this works. It's just something you can just copy paste, and this is also what I do. Just with the soup function, whatever, this little helper function I defined here, right? You really just need to write this once, and then you define your own little scraping package or whatever that you can just load always. So it's the same with the sitemap function, and you can see here there is an XML package, which is what we need because sitemaps are in XML format, and we can just use it in a similar way how we're using Beautiful Soup to parse HTML. We can use this package to parse or to extract structured information from a sitemap actually. And you can see the code here. The first thing we do is actually we just download, right? We just get the sitemap. We just use again request package and just do a very simple get command for the URL. And then we use here the package, the element tree function from the XML package that we loaded as ET, but you also can just load it here, right? It actually doesn't matter. And then we specify here that we're gonna parse it from a string, and our content is just our request content. And then we just iterate over all the entries in our tree, which we constructed here, very similar to how we construct our Beautiful Soup object. And we also can specify the schema, and usually you can see it here, it's specified right at the top, and this just tells the package how it's going to treat and get the information out of here. And then we can just let me just rename it so it's really general. I copied it from my already PitchBook scraper. I wrote it a while ago, but this is really general, right? And I shouldn't call it. So now it's fine. And you don't have to remember this. I don't either. You can just copy paste it whenever you want to scrape a sitemap. This is what I do. And now we can just try it. Let's go in here. We do just scrape sitemap, and we paste the URL because this is what it does, right? It eats an URL and spits out the list of URLs it found in this sitemap. So we don't want to print maybe the whole thing because it's huge, but let's just print the first 10 results. Okay, and there we are. You can see it's really just super fast. We get like all of these, and you can also see how many. Yeah, right, 1,690. It's a lot, and this you can see like one advantage is it's so much faster. if we would have to go through DuckDuckGo or some internal search, this would be obviously much slower. So this is one advantage, and the other advantage is obviously that you really get all the pages, right? You won't miss anything, because sometimes, for example, DuckDuckGo has not all pages indexed, or any other search engines, or sometimes the internal search is limited to only very specific pages, whatever. So this is really the best in terms of getting all the pages. And now, this is really all I wanted to show in terms of for the basics. And if we want to get, for example, all the communities, we could do the same trick we've already used a few times, which would be x for x and res if in x, right? And then okay, it's actually 1,200 communities, because there are also other pages, and this is important. Sorry, I misclicked. This is obviously important if we just want to scrape, for example, these profiles and not topic pages or something else. All right, but this was just an easy example, and now let's go back to PitchBook, and we can, of course, just delete it. We don't need it. We can scrape the sitemap. But yeah, it actually does not contain links to the profiles, but only these xml.gz files, which are just compressed files, right? So what we need is a function to actually download these GZ files, and then unpack them. We download them, we unpack them, and then we extract the structured information from there, just as we did before. But because actually each of these, it's just a package version, and you can see this is now a proper sitemap, and when we unpack it, we can see, okay, this is what we really want. These are really all the profiles. So I really have here the little helper function again, because I can't memorize it and just don't need to, because I just copied this little snippet whenever I need it. But the code should be pretty self-explanatory. So what we do is we just, for one of these URLs, we get it, right? We download it, then we open it, and then we read the content, pass it into a tree structure, and this is exactly what we did before. So we could actually just write a separate function for the parsing part, but let's keep it as expressive as possible, and then we get the URLs, and just do it real quick for one example. Or even better, we shouldn't print it, because it's huge. It's huge. So maybe just print the first 10. Yeah, it worked, and you can see it's 50,000 URLs just in this one package. In this one GZ file, and there are actually multiple of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Actually 20. So that's huge. And there are also other sitemaps for news, blog articles, and everything else they have on their website. But in our case, we are just interested in the public profiles, right? So we will focus on that. And yeah, we now have all the puzzle pieces, and we just need to put them together. So we scrape the original sitemap, right? Because this sitemap contains the links to these GZ files. And then we go over these one by one, download this file, unpack it, read the tree structure, and extract all the URLs. And then we add it to a list. And we do this for all 20 of them. And then we get a huge list of profile URLs. So yeah, you can already see the code here. And because there's really no magic going on, it's really just what I explained here. We get the links to the all the URLs in the sitemap, and then we iterate over it. And the only thing is that we make sure, okay, only if we have like public profiles in the URL, and this is because yeah, we don't want like webinars and authors and all these pages. We really want just the profiles for our example. So this should work, and then we for each of them we save it here. But let's just do it maybe for the first two. And let's just see what happens. So this is what we expected, right? We go through like the first two links in our original PitchBook sitemap, and for each of them we download the GZ file and get the public profiles. And we already saw that for one of these URLs, for one of these GZ files contains 50,000 profiles. So now when we do two, we get 100,000 profiles, and it also looks good in terms of the result list. And now one thing we want to do is actually move this over into our PitchBook scraper and actually treat this as a proper package that we can reuse whenever we need it. And now we go over here and just call the function from our package, because this is specific for our PitchBook scraping task, whereas these functions over here are specific for are not specific, right? They work for any sitemap and we can reuse them, and so a natural place for this is here. And yeah, this works, right? It's super fast. We get hundreds of thousands results, and it's a very elegant, fast solution that you should use whenever you can find the sitemap. And even if there are some obstacles, like here, a step in between, like downloading these files or whatever, it's worth the effort, because I'm pretty sure you will never find like all hundreds of thousands of company profiles using any of the other approaches, using the search engine approach or the brute force internal search approach, right? This is really the best. And we could now do the same that we did before, which is just getting all these profiles, and for all 20, I won't do it here. It's even though it's actually fast, right? We can do it for 5 or something just to show it that it is actually fast. And then we save it. And then, of course, our CSV file will be huge now, because we don't have just 100 or so URLs in there, but actually hundreds of thousands. So if we now do the PitchBook scraper script, when we execute it, it takes a bit longer because it has to do all these steps, right? But it's already finished. And we can see PitchBook profiles is 12 MB already. It's already huge, and we stopped at 5. So safe to assume that there are hundreds of thousands of profiles in there. All right, that was the best option, and yeah, again, we could now load it here, scrape all profiles, and just obviously amp this up a little bit, maybe 12, maybe 20, and then just scrape all the PitchBook profiles. And yeah, you can build a nice company database for whatever purpose you might need. This way, but yeah, the same methods. The methods are very general. The brute force search, I've used this many times. Also the search engine approach, and of course the sitemap scraping is a very cool solution. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, learned something, and see you in the next video.